What's going on, guys? I wanted to make a quick little video here for anybody that, owner-op wise is looking into getting a Paccar engine or already has a truck with a Paccar. I was very leery about going down that route and seeing, after hearing all the war stories and everything that goes on with these and how big of a problem they are. I've had mine now for about 2 years, and I figured I'd share a few little tips and tricks, routine maintenance stuff that'll just keep it out of the shop. Now, I've had a few breakdowns, but most of the time, my biggest issue is that it has to be done at a Peterbilt dealership. Most of the time, anything involving the computer or diagnosing in general, that's still a pet peeve I have that no one can seem to get around. But I have come across a few maintenance things that you can do on your own to keep yourself out of the shop as much as possible. And with that being said, I haven't had a lot of costly breakdown issues once I figured out these few solutions. Mainly it's time that I lose. Something does happen. Anybody that has a Peterbilt knows how the dealerships work. And pretty much any dealership at that, they're just on their own schedule. But enough rambling. Here's a few tips that I found that has helped these engines stay healthier longer. And with so far 655,000 on my engine, it's treated me fairly well. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing I want to touch base on, we'll just kind of go in order here. This will be more of like a one-take deal. The first thing I ran across, I took it to the shop a lot because I kept getting, random check maintenance light. I shouldn't say check engine light, a maintenance light. And every time I would take it in, they charged me $1,000 to diagnose it, and then come back and say, oh, well, there's nothing wrong. Well, the light's coming on, you would think there has to be something wrong. Well, I got tired of dealing with that. It happened to me twice. I'm like, I'm not doing it no more. That's not me. I'm not going to keep giving you guys money and getting no results out of it. So the first thing that you're going to have to do, and it's a pain, it's not really so much more costly, but change your fuel filters. I change mine once a month. That's about all it takes for them to plug up. You have to use Paccar specified filters, which is fine, but they clog up constantly. These filters do not like biodiesel fuel, any type of biodiesel mix. It plugs them up constantly. And once I started doing that, that maintenance light doesn't come on for me anymore. So basically, it's so sensitive that if it sees the slightest drop in fuel pressure from basically the filter housing to the fuel rail, it's going to throw a maintenance light on you. So I started changing my fuel filters regularly around about a month, and I have not had that issue anymore. She runs fine, doesn't go into partial, because what it would do, that would come on and put you into partial torque limp mode. So I normally build about 32 to 35 pounds of boost. It would cut me down to like 25 to 27. Doesn't sound like much, but that's a lot of power that you're losing, especially when it comes to pulling hills. So first thing I would suggest doing is that. Number two, if you're a guy that follows, the Paccar or any truck's recommended maintenance schedule, you got a Paccar, throw it out the window. Don't even think about doing 50,000 mile oil change intervals like it says in the book. Regardless of idle time and whatever, this and that, no. I've always used to do 12 to 15,000 mile oil changes with my other trucks. These have a built-in oil bypass system, which you talk to the guys that put the aftermarket ones on. Some of them guys were claiming 100,000 miles in between oil changes, and that's less than 3% idle. We're not going to get into each person's individual way that they use their truck. What I do is normally 25 to 30,000 mile oil change intervals. I've done oil samples. The oil is still healthy at that point. It's starting to show its wear. So I found that seems to be a pretty good sweet spot, is the 25 to 30,000 mile intervals. Now, I also have an EPA 10 motor, I believe. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's an EPA 10 motor. So not sure if that's going to vary from what year your Paccar engine is. That just works for mine. I do everything on top of the fuel filters once a month. Even when it comes time for the oil change, I get all filters done at once. The only one I do not is my coolant filter. I do that one every other oil change. And the air filters on these, I have 2014 579. So yours might be different depending on what, Kenworth Peterbilt model you have. But I have one of their crazy, weird air intake filters, and I do that pretty much every third oil change. Sounds like a lot, but they're rated, I guess, apparently like 100 to 125,000 miles. I forget what they told me. Again, anything Peterbilt and Paccar manual will say, throw it out the window. By doing that, it's a routine, regular oil change. Keep it consistent, and it'll keep your motor happy. And I don't have too many issues with that. The third and final major thing I would consider, maintenance-wise, to do more out of the ordinary is, fortunately, we're stuck with the emissions stuff. I'll put it, politely. It's on there. Whether you like it or not, you got to maintain it. And the way that these are, they're probably my least favorite emission setup. That is your main problem with these motors. I know it's a main problem for all motors, but compared to like the Cummins, for instance, I would prefer to have a Cummins. This will probably be my last Paccar, but you have to maintain everything around your emissions. Do the Egr Tune Ups regularly. I did one so far. I've had this truck for 2 years. I've done one on it so far. Did not need to replace my cooler. Did not need to replace my EGR valve. They were able to be cleaned. I replaced a couple sensors along with that. I have had my DPF taken out, cleaned and baked once so far. I was going to do it again here recently. I got it done when I first got the truck because I had no idea when it was done prior and it needed it. I was going to do it again because, I have about 200,000 miles. Well, no. Probably about 150,000 miles since I had it done the last time. And I just had it in, for the maintenance not that long ago. And according to the computer-wise, the soot level was very low, so I opted to not get it done at that point with the ridiculous bill I already had in time down. But I'll probably get that done again here soon, and I'm rambling and getting off subject. But do your EGR tune-ups, replace sensors, clean sensors if you can. There's plenty of things on YouTube where you can go and people will show you how to clean. I probably should, and at some point might make a video on that for myself, but worst case scenario, if you're not mechanically inclined and an owner operator, you probably should learn how to be. But if not, it's worth taking into the dealership and having them do. By doing those three things, your filter changes, especially the fuel filters, and your EGR tune-ups, and just keeping on top of anything emissions related will keep you out of the shop for anything major. Take care of the little stuff. It might be a little bit more out of the pocket up front, but your long term, if you're planning on keeping this motor for a while and keeping the truck, do these things and your truck will be happy. If the truck's happy and out staying working, you're happy because you're out making money. So that's my little quick video of just, if you have a Paccar engine, an MX-13, these are the few things I've done over the past 2 years that have seemed to help me and keep the truck healthy. I'm sure I'll run across a few more things. I, try things that work and don't work or just really aren't necessary. But, if you're an owner-op, this is your baby. You have to maintain this. If you want to make money and be successful in it, this is your first priority, keeping this thing on the road. Then start worrying about everything else. Well, hope this video helps. Comments down below if you, think I'm full of crap or want to hear more, maintenance related things that I do with this truck. So either way, that's it, and I'll talk to you guys later.